Well, aloha everybody, and once again, welcome to today's live stream. My name is Paul Fletcher, and this is the Healing Source. Today is the 27th of December. Congratulations, you have made it through another year and another holiday season, at least if you celebrate the Christmas holidays. And myself and my family had a great time. My new relocation out here to Oklahoma has been very nice. The people out here are very friendly, and I've got a few friends out here, so we just did the family thing. And I took this last week off, you may or may not have noticed, but this week we are getting right back on track, and we are still within this series on the chakras and the nature, power, and the significance of the chakras specifically for our health and wellness. And one of the most important things to grasp about this subject, if you've just come across this podcast, is that our chakras, our body, is intricately connected to our chakras. And what I mean by that is our chakras represent a space in the body. Of course, everybody knows we have 7 of them. And if you missed the previous episodes, please go back and watch, as we are today moving into chakra number 6. And the chakras are energy centers within our bodies, and they can become significantly out of balance. When they become out of balance, it affects our actual body, our health, and our wellness. Of course, it will affect our emotions and our mind. Today we're going to talk about more of that, especially in relation to the mind. This week is chakra number 6, often referred to as the third eye center. Now, this is actually incorrect, because the third eye and the 6th chakra are not the same. The third eye is an energy center, and it's about the size of a cherry. And the physical aspect of the third eye is the pineal gland. So we won't be talking very much about that today, because actually I've talked about that before. I forget what series it was, maybe 4 or 5. I went into the different spiritual energy centers. And so if you missed that, go back and watch that. You're going to find today the differences between this center, the 6th chakra. Again, it is often referred to as the third eye center, and it can positively impact your third eye. It absolutely can. But it's a different energy center entirely. First of all, it's a chakra, and it's about fist size. So if you held your fist up in front of your face, that's about how big this energy center is. Again, with the third eye energy center being the size of a cherry, right off the bat, you can tell they're different. There are many qualities that are unique to each of these energy centers. So I'm going to again be focusing on the nature of the 6th chakra and its impact in the body, on the brain, and on your spiritual journey. So I want to pause for a moment. Thank you and welcome to everybody who's come to this live stream. And if you are listening on podcast, please make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss any of the future podcasts here for the sharing of the healing source. Now, what is the 6th chakra? It is, of course, a chakra located in the center of your brain. So how do you find the center? Well, you touch the tips of your ears, go to the top, and then from your nose, you come up, and when you're at center, you're good to go. You drop down into the center of your brain. Now, this fist-sized energy center is one of the most important aspects of spiritual awakening and enlightenment. A lot of people recognize its association to the brain, but it has quite a few more associations to your spiritual journey. Now, if you have been following this My Healing Source podcast for a while, you will know that from the very beginning, I have been sharing the wisdom and teaching of Dr. and Master Sha. And this teacher is a profound teacher of great Tao wisdom. This wisdom explains quite a few things about the nature of the spiritual body and the chakras. For example, and I have shared this earlier, the chakras in his what he was taught by the source is referred to as soul houses. Why? Because the soul goes through the process of evolution and development, becoming more and more pure, more and more light, and in essence, more and more service to others versus service to self. And as the soul becomes more of an enlightened being, service to others, and oneness consciousness, then it starts to go up through the soul houses. The first level of enlightenment occurs at the heart chakra level. And as the soul continues to grow, it moves wider and higher through the chakras. And when a soul has elevated its soul standing by virtue of the soul's service or an individual's service, then it can actually rise to be within the brain. This is an extraordinary achievement. When a soul sits in the brain, or anywhere in this upper part of the torso, there are very, very few, extraordinary few humans on this planet that have accomplished that. Probably less than 1,000. I think it's less than that, but we'll use that number for now. And why is it so hard for this level of accomplishment? Well, very simply, it's a very high level of selflessness. Your entire life is dedicated to serve others. You do not think of yourself at all. Everything you do is in service of others. And you have to be free of a significant amount of the negative messages, information, and past mistakes that have to be freed from your vibration before your soul can rise to this level. Now, once your soul moves into this area of your body, there's an entirely new set of wisdom and insights that you can receive. Additionally, there's a significant amount of frequency and vibration that comes from the source, from your creator, into this part of your body. Now, I'm going to digress a minute here to share some unique things with you about this area of the body and the brain and its connection. I had a teacher going back about 24 or 5 years ago when I was in Korea. At the time I did not know it, but this individual was an enlightened being. After I learned what enlightenment was, it was pretty clear to see that it was an enlightened person. And they spoke about the importance for the human being to expand the function of the brain, to bring more balance between the left and the right hemispheres, in between the corpus callosum and more. They even went so far as to create devices that affected the hearing in the ear, the vision and the sight, for the purpose of balancing the hemispheres, as well as for bringing your consciousness from the alphas to the betas to the deltas and the thetas and so forth. They didn't invent that so much as they took it to advanced layers. And then the teachers within their organization, he asked them to work with these daily. And what's the purpose? One of the things that he went on to explain was that the brain has so much more capability than we could possibly understand. The soul that becomes so enlightened that it moves into the sixth chakra area starts to enhance these unique qualities of the brain. And it starts to open up the dormant areas in functionality. This then allows for higher wisdom and information, not only to come, but to be perceived and understood. This is the missing part. Heaven in the source is always sending high levels of wisdom and information to us. But if it can only go through a straw versus a garden hose or a fire hose, then the difference in what we can perceive and understand is significantly less. So when somebody moves through the process of awakening the heart center, opening up, becoming the first layer of enlightenment, then opening up to the 5th chakra and into the 6th chakra, what happens is the wisdom and information, the funnel becomes wider, and the consciousness of the brain, its ability to receive the higher wisdoms of the universe, becomes significantly more capable. The same information that may have been there last year that could not be heard and understood now can be heard and understood by the person who has expanded the consciousness of their 6th chakra. So these are very important understandings and why it's so important to work with this. So when somebody does do practices for the 6th chakra, which we'll do in a little while, one of the side effects that is possible is a headache. And there are multiple reasons for this, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. What it represents is expanded energy, kind of like pushing against the sides of a balloon. So do know that when you work with any aspect of bringing energy into the upper torso, it's very, very important to ground yourself and do practices in the lower dantian, lower abdominal region to bring that chi back down, okay? We'll make sure and do that in our practice. So real briefly, I'm going to share an aspect of a presentation here. Some of you will know some of this, some of you will not. Give you a little bit of a highlight. So we've already spoken about the location of this 6th soul house, 6th chakra, and it is fist size in the center of your brain. And it is the key center for brain health. When this chakra is more activated, and especially when you work with it, your brain health will increase. What does that mean? Well, you've heard of Alzheimer's, you've heard of dementia. That has a direct association with your brain health. The synaptic endings, the ability for the synapses to occur. Even we have so many problems today in society with toxins in the food and the environment. Some of it can even cross what's called the blood-brain barrier. And it has been proven time and time again with the wisdom teachings and the power of Tao healing that regardless of the root cause, be it heavy metals or parasites or toxicity, blood-brain barrier toxins, whatever it might be, diseases of the brain, that when they... okay, give me a moment, please, folks. I apologize, you might have heard some dinging. My daughter received a bicycle for Christmas, and she's very excited to ding it right outside my door. I had to ask her to not do that. The 6th chakra, when we really connect to it, it will clear the blockages of the brain. The frequency and vibration that is associated with an expanded 6th chakra makes it impossible for lower frequencies and vibrations, regardless of the physical root source, to stay. And this has been, again, as I said earlier, proven time and time again. So by enhancing this chakra, you can enhance the health and wellness of your brain. Now, additionally, the obvious side effect is greater intelligence, but that intelligence is not limited to intelligence of doing math or learning more words. This is higher spiritual intelligence, the kind of intelligence that when you witness something or before you go and act to do something, you receive higher wisdom and guidance about the highest and best way to do that. You could witness a war on television, a specific series of events, and because you are attuned to the universe, you will hear the underlying activity that's occurring there. You can ask the nature of the universe, the nature of soul travel or anything of that nature, close your eyes and meditate and receive very clear guidance, wisdom, and information on the nature of soul travel in this example. So the secrets of the universe start to open up to you in very profound ways. It does require going inside. And for the vast majority of humanity, that's a big ask. We are so busy having our brain and our mind hijacked, literally hijacked, by These guys, right? Cell phones, the computer you're watching me through, the cell phone you're watching me through, all the different forms of media, the million different people throwing things at you through social media, advertising, da 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 da. Our consciousness has been in many cases purposely hijacked. Won't go into that whole ideology now, but do know that there's a battle between dark and light. And one of the ways that darkness tries to circumvent you from reaching to the light, reaching to your source, is give you many things to do with your mind. So as you further activate your sixth chakra, start working with it, what it does is it filters out this external source of attention seeking that it tries to pull you away. Close your eyes, go inside. It'll be significantly easier to meditate as well. Now, another factor obviously is memory. Raise your hand if you've noticed any memory issues here or there. Sometimes they come, sometimes they go. Some of us have not had any. Depends on you. Memory issues, have root causes, some obvious. They might say it's hereditary. Well, in the wisdom and teachings that I've learned, that I've been sharing with you, the hereditary aspect is rooted in mistakes that you or your ancestors may have made. Could have been harm to others' brains. It could have been pollution that created problems for people in the past. And these negative thoughts, words, and actions that you or your ancestors may have done could have created this environmental condition that then puts a cloud over your ability to think clearly. Literally a spiritual cloud. That spiritual cloud has a root in our poor thoughts, words, and actions, the ones that were not of benefit to others. So going full circle, we come back around to the person who has achieved this high level of consciousness where their soul has grown to the point of being in their brain. Typically speaking, that person has no interest in themselves. They are only interested in serving others. That person will not have memory issues because they will have cleared the negative frequencies and vibrations associated with me, or associated with selfishness. Because when we are selfish, we make choices of thoughts, words, and actions that harm others. And that then brings negative vibration into our field. It can affect our memory. When somebody increases the empowerment of the sixth chakra and or does so much service, generates so much virtue that their soul rises then into this soul house, they have the great opportunity to be very crystal clear and have zero memory issues. Now the next function is, you're supposed to go to that one, okay? Whole body communication. What does this mean? Well, in essence, your brain is your CPU, your central processing unit. And there's the amygdala, the frontal lobe, you have the brainstem, which is basically, carries the entire nervous system down through your spine to all your organs, your systems, your whole body. You have the entire limbic system, which encapsulates everything from your pineal gland to your medulla oblongata. Can't spit out some of these brain things. You have your right and left hemispheres that very often are out of balance. One's more towards the creative side, one's more towards the logical side. You have the corpus callosum down the middle with all of the nerve endings going through them, connecting them. And all of this, when enhanced and operating at peak efficiency, causes your entire body to operate in peak efficiency. So it has been proven by putting the little straps on people's heads and taking some of the highest athletes in the world, putting on a machine, and they found that those that perform the best have balanced left and right hemispheres. So because of that, they will actually take athletes and bring them into these universities and colleges and watch them monitor the machine and teach them how to think, how to process while they're running on a machine or whatever they're doing, so that they get used to the feeling of left-right brain balance. Whole body communication is definitely directly associated with sixth chakra. Let's check the next slide. Obviously, direct association to your third eye. The third eye, as discussed earlier, cherry-sized, not the same as your sixth chakra. And if you have issues in either, it can affect the other. So if you have third eye negative information, meaning you may have in previous lifetimes had active third eye, you may have offered wrong information or interpreted what was shown you incorrectly, expressed that incorrect information to others that then made choices that could have negatively affected their soul journey, that could have created a cloud over your third eye. That then can impact your brain and vice versa. So one can affect the other, and that's important to understand. The stronger your sixth soul house, the more it can clear of that kind of negative information. So it does affect each other, yes, but they are not the same. Obviously, your motor skills are positively or negatively affected, and a lot of that is because this area is very close to what's called the limbic system. And that system has a lot of association to your motor skills. Balance is in this area, and so you might want to do a little more homework around that if you have some balance issues. And of course, control of all of the bodily systems. So as a whole, this chakra has an extraordinary effect, both physically, for obvious reasons, because it's in the brain, but most importantly, when you expand this chakra, when you do practices, when you allow for that funnel to move from the width of a straw to the width of a hose to the width of a fire hose, what that will equate to is access to the highest universal wisdom. You will learn things about the universe that were basically impossible to receive any other way unless you happen to be training with a very high level teacher like we are blessed to. That's where this information came from. So this then represents the nature, power, and significance of the sixth chakra in about 20 or so minutes. Let's now do a practice. Each area of the body has a sound power that can benefit that area of the body. For the head, the sound power is Yi, Y-I-E. And the body power can be a couple of different choices. You can simply put the palm in front of your head like this. You can also balance it. It's called near hand, far hand. And so one palm is a few inches away. The other palm is about a foot away. And this then brings a balanced frequency and vibration into the head. Okay? There's a couple different ways that you can do that. So I will walk you through the 4-power technique. And if you wish to come along with me and do this practice along with me, you're more than welcome to. For those that are on podcast listening, close your eyes if you can. Obviously, if you're driving, don't do that. And let's receive some frequency into this area. So I'm simply going to put one hand on my lower abdomen with my palm facing my belly button, slightly below it. Put my knuckle in my belly button. Drop my palm down, relaxed. The other palm is just going to be a few inches away from the center of my forehead, right between my eyebrows. I'm going to visualize, and I suggest you visualize the center of your brain. And you do not want to bring huge, focused, intent light. You want to bring a gentle focus to the area and just see it gathering in the center of your brain. Let us connect. Repeat after me. Dear the soul of my sixth chakra, you have the power to receive the light from the source and from all the beloved beings of love and light. You have the ability to expand yourself, receive higher wisdom from the source, heal and rejuvenate my brain. Do a good job. Thank you. Let's connect to the source. Dear my source creator, dear all of the beloved beings of love and light that have a desire to serve at this time, and any light balls, downloads, or treasures that I may have received, I humbly ask you all to come at this time to serve my sixth chakra, to help expand it and bring in any additional light, wisdom, and healing that is most appropriate. Thank you. So that's called soul power. Visualize the light coming in, gentle, and the sound power is Yi, Y-I. Deep breath in. Yi. If your arms get tired, simply switch them out. Continue to gently visualize the light. You can feel the vibration in your head getting brighter and expanding. Breathe in. Now we're going to chant Yi 3 times, all in one breath. Breathe in. Yi, yi, yi. Yi, yi, yi. Breathe in. Yi, yi, yi. Now you can see the light expanding. When you chant 3 times, you see it expand 3 times. Clearing blockages, memory issues, etc. Breathe in. Yi, yi, yi. 2 more times. Breathe in. Yi, yi, yi. Breathe in. Yi, yi, yi. Wonderful. Relax your hands. Bring both palms to your lower abdomen. And we're going to bring the light down now to the lower abdomen. This is not so necessary now, as this is a short practice, but it's a good practice to do. And as we breathe into the lower abdomen, chant Jo, Z-H-O-U, Jo. Deep breath in. Jo. See the light filtering down to your lower body. Breathe in. Jo. Two more times. Breathe in. Jo. Wonderful. So as always with these live streams, I don't have the time to do the necessary education and practice within the allotted time. But whenever you do any of the practices for the chakras, good idea to do 10 minutes minimum each for each chakra. Again, if you're new to the podcast, I've already covered 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Today is the 6th chakra. Now, next week, of course, will be the 7th, and then I'm going to do what's called the Chi channel. And this connects all of them using the sound powers that have been taught you this entire time. Most of you watching on live stream are familiar with the wisdom and information I've been sharing. I thank you for your presence. And do share this, because there are a lot of people that are waking up in the world, especially now. They're starting to realize the nature of the soul, that chakras are real and that they are relevant to a person's health and wellness. And I have created this podcast in such a way where it reaches the general audience, gives them that skill set that Master Sha has brought to humanity. So be a messenger of this wisdom. Make sure this podcast is shared with others. It's free, of course. And this is probably podcast number 50 or so. I've been doing it almost a year now. And so it might take them a while to catch up. So they can start in the beginning, where I start to explain the nature of the soul and its connectivity to this experience. Shen, Qi, Jing, soul, heart, mind, energy, and matter. All of that I go through at the very beginning. And then I start to apply that wisdom step by step for the emotions, for the energy body, for the 5 elements, for relationships. And I show how to apply the wisdom of Shen, Qi, Jing to transform the soul, heart, mind, energy, and matter blockages that tend to be predominant in some of our lives. So today is no different. I hope you enjoyed this. Do share it. If you are new and you'd like to try Tao Healing, I'm offering 5 free days of healing and even a consult to anybody that joins that program. So come to my website, wellspringoflight.com, and you'll scroll down 1 or 2 inches. You'll see the opportunity to join those 5 free days of healing, and you can see what it's like to be in the healing field for more than just a few minutes at a time. It's a great opportunity. And then if you decide it's something you like, then you can of course join the membership associated with it and receive healing literally on a daily basis, since that's how my membership works. Okay? So I want to thank you all for coming, and until next week when we go into the 7th chakra, have an awesome day, everybody. Bye-bye.